Hello everyone, today I'm going to go through the 10 questions in week 14 lab assignment, and I hope this video can help you to understand better with our lab exercise. So let's start with the first question. In part A, it asks you to construct a scatter plot, so we can do it in Excel. We can choose A here because we get the similar graph. Then in part B, how do we interpret the meaning of the slope B1? So B1 implies that for each increase of alcohol percentage of 1, the one quality rating is expected to increase by the value of B1, which is equal to 0.2. So we choose C here. And in part C, we can do it in Excel. Alcohol content is 11 and B1 is equal to 0.2. Plus B0 is equal to 5.4. We get the answer that it's equal to 7.6. In part D, what conclusion can we get? First, the alcohol percentage is X value and one quality is Y value. So X can affect Y, not be affected by Y. So A and B, they are false. We compare C and D here. Each increase of 1% in alcohol leads to a mean increase in one quality of about the value of B1. So it is equal to 0.2. C is correct. Okay, the second question. First part, we still need to construct a scatter plot. We do it in Excel, just as the previous question. Okay, we can compare it with the 4 options and pay attention to the X range and Y range. So B is the most similar graph with our results. So we choose B here. Part B, it requires us to run the linear regression. We find data analysis and run the regression. Here we need to make sure that we input the correct X range and Y range. We just check it. Okay, so we get the regression results. So B0 is equal to negative 31.39 and B1 is approximately equal to 1.29. Okay, next question. To interpret the meaning of B0 and B1, first B1 is positive and it implies the marginal cost, so A, B are false. And D is false because the summated rating is X value, so it can affect Y, not be affected by Y. And C is correct because, yeah, it is unlikely that the restaurant to have a rating of 0. And D is equal to 50 times B1 plus B0. We get the answer is 32.9. Okay, part E. So the summated rating and the cost of the meal. The relationship between them is a positive relationship because B1 is positive. So we choose C here. Okay, question 3. First part, to construct the scatter plot, it is just same as the previous questions. Okay, so compile the results graph with the 4 options. We can get A is correct. And part B asks us to do the linear regression model. And because the pop-up window cannot be recorded automatically in my screen, so I just skipped that step. I didn't record the pop-up window anymore. But the steps are just as same as the last question. Okay, we get the results. So B0 is equal to negative 558.25. And B1 is equal to 4.91. Okay, next part, to interpret the meaning of B0 and B1. A is false because B1 implies the marginal franchise value, not the average. And B is false because it also provides a wrong interpretation of B1. And D is false because B1 is positive, so it shows that the franchise value is expected to increase by B1 if there each increase of $1 million in the annual revenues. So we choose C. And part D, Y is equal to 250 times B1 plus B0. We get the answer is 669. And we go to part E. Because B1 is positive, so the value of the franchise can be expected to increase as the revenue increase. Question 4. Ask us to interpret the coefficient of determination R squared. So we put the notes on the right side. You can look at the notes about the definition of R squared. And R squared is equal to 0.05 here. So compare with the 4 options, we can get A is correct. Okay, we check it and we go to the next question. Next part is ask you to calculate SST. SST is equal to SSR plus SSE. I'll also show you the notes. And SSR is equal to 48 here, and SSE is equal to 12. So SST is equal to 60. And R squared is equal to SSR over SST. So 48 over 60 is equal to 0.8. The next part. To interpret the meaning of R squared, it is just same as the last question. And compare A, B, C, D. We get D is the correct answer. Okay, so let's go to next question. SSR is equal to 120 and SST cannot be equal to 110 because SST is equal to SSR plus SSE and all of them cannot be negative. So A is true. Okay, in question 7. First part, to calculate R squared, so we input SSR, SST, and we get SSE. R squared is equal to SSR over SST, so we can get the answer. Then to interpret it, it means that 92.65% of the variation in the cost of a meal can be explained by the variation in summated ratings. Okay, next part, to calculate SYX. So according to our notes, SYX is equal to the square root of the SSE over n minus 2. Here we know that n is equal to 10 because there are 10 restaurants, and n minus 2 is equal to 8. So SYX is equal to the square root of the SSE over 8. Okay, we get the answer. Okay, next part. How do we think of the regression model for the predicting? We think it is very useful because according to the results we get above, we can say that R squared is very large, it is close to 1, and SYX is relatively small. So we can think it is very useful for predicting. Okay, question 8. The first part is to determine the hypothesis. And the test is if there is linear relationship between the size of the apartment and the monthly rent. We know that if there is linear relationship, it's decided by beta 1. If beta 1 is equal to 0, there is no linear relationship. So we choose A here. Okay, so next part is to find the test statistics. We can get it from the regression results. So we run the linear regression then. Okay, we get the regression results, and the p-value is in the last line because we are test beta 1 here. Okay, so the value is 8.2. So what's the p-value? P-value also shown in the results. So we get the p-value is very, very small. So I think here we can just write 0. Because E negative 8 means it is extremely small. Okay, so to reject non-hypothesis because there's sufficient evidence to conclude that there's linear relationship between the size of the apartment and the monthly rent. And the confidence interval is also in the results. Okay, so question 9. It is a multiple regression equation. So when we interpret the slopes, of one variable, we cannot only consider it itself, we need to consider to control the other variable. So for part A, D is correct because it has controlled the other. And part B, to interpret y-intercept. Y-intercept is equal to 10, so A, B are false. And it is equal to the estimate of the mean value of y only if x1 and x2 are both 0. Okay, question 10. The last question. To interpret the meaning of the slope. So yeah, it is very simple. Okay, so B part, the y-intercept is 50. So we only consider A, D, and F. And we need to keep both x1 and x2 at 0. So F is correct.